Hey, you're listening to Business Talks with Jazmin J. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been rocking with me, thank you for staying tuned in. This is a podcast from the leader's perspective, where we talk strategy, results, and the real behind the scenes of what it takes to build something that lasts. This season is all about legacy, the moves you make now that shape what's to come next. Each week, I'll be coming with new fire episodes. Make sure you're rocking with me and make sure you come out to the live show that we'll have at the end of the season. Stay connected. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Business Talks with Jazmin J. And today we're going to be talking about building spaces, amplifying voices, and creating impact. Today I get to have a conversation, a real and transparent conversation with my friend, LaGina R. But I'm going to do right, y'all, and give her the right type of intro, okay? Today's guest is someone whose work and influence stretch across business, academia, media, and philanthropy. She's a true innovator in creating spaces, literally and figuratively, for women, minorities, and communities to be amplified. LaGina, you have all this experience. You doing all these amazing things here in Houston. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here with you, my friend.
Yeah.
And I'm excited that I don't have to do your intro for a little while because you keep building your resume. So I'm like, I try to keep up with it in my head.
Yep.
So this is really exciting. You're doing a great job with your media brand, your production. And, when we originally talked, we talked about not only the things we wanted to do in business together when we met, but we really sat down and we were like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What do you want to do?
Yep.
And so it's really cool to see this come to fruition.
Thank you, LaGina. I received that. I was telling you in the green room, I'm like, I'm happy to have this conversation with you because I know you and it's an easy flow. Not saying that speaking to new people is difficult, but it's just a level of comfort having you here. And this is something we have talked about. So it's good to have you here.
Yes. What's the new thing?
All right. So let's jump into it. LaGina, you've decided your career to build platforms that amplify voices. Where did that passion for creating spaces come from?
I guess a lot of places. My parents did a really good job raising all three of their kids and letting me be my own human.
Yeah.
So even when I was a kid, I started a babysitters club.
Girl, not the babysitters club.
Say hello to your friends. I did that. I even was the only kid on the base that was allowed to go do ceramics. I loved arts and crafts. I loved my art classes. I loved home economics before it was illegal to have and all of those kind of things.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I've always been a creative. And as I've gotten older, I realized that I have a voice.
Yes.
And not only do I have a voice, but I am comfortable sharing my thoughts with other people.
Yeah.
And over time, even when I'm not comfortable, I've made myself comfortable because I realized that me saying what I think helps other people be comfortable saying what they think and how they feel, and then their voice is being heard, and then it becomes an amplification. So that's where all of that idea started with. And I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I'm super blessed to have family members that actually understand what I'm doing.
Yes.
Even if they don't understand what I'm doing, because sometimes my family's still stuck on, they're like, how is your little podcast going? But they understand that I'm working
and building something.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had family from Maryland, San Antonio, LA, and even like Switzerland come just to see what I'm doing from the us space to my media company. So I got started because my parents allowed me to explore my creativity, and I also followed the rules. So I graduated high school, I went to college, I was a campus queen even, joined a sorority, I played softball, so I was a collegiate athlete, and I even went and did the work thing. I've never worked corporate. And I never went to PWI. So the whole time all of this stuff is happening, I was kind of building what I'm doing now without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, as in your introduction, I talk about you being an innovator in this space. How do you receive that?
It's interesting because you have to use buzzwords for people to understand what you're doing. I was talking to my mother the other night, and I talked about how, for me, obvious things seem to be innovation for other people. And it depends on even what industry you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about something like the us space and flex third spaces, when I'm talking to people in the industry, they're like, okay, you're just doing a co-working space.
Yeah.
We have that. When I'm talking to people that never have heard of it, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this space. And then when I'm talking to people that really understand what I'm doing in the entrepreneurial side of growing ecosystems and economic development and business education, more than just co-working, it's tiered.
Yes.
So I receive innovation as a positive thing. I think innovation embraces the past and how you do something, problem solving into the present, and then creating something new from a grounding of the foundational beginning. Yeah. So I like it. I'll take it.
I know that's right. I love how you put that. So in your journey with this entrepreneurship and you being a fourth generation entrepreneur, like what are some challenges that you've had to overcome, and what are some things that because you are fourth generation, you feel like you didn't have to go through those steps, or are there things that you feel like you were able to skip?
That's a good question. So the challenge of being an entrepreneur is that every day you wake up and it's you, right? The beauty of being an entrepreneur is every day you wake up and it's you, right? The challenge of being an entrepreneur is also people call it imposter syndrome. I no longer embrace imposter syndrome because I'm not an imposter, even though I do feel like an alien, you know. My challenge is always getting out of my own way. And I know people say that, but so let's dive into it. The challenge is figuring out your cadence, figuring out your leadership style, figuring out how you're gonna thrive when you're tired, figuring out how to hire a team, understanding how to do people operations, understanding contracts and things that you never knew anything about. Right. Weighing in and balancing the fact that you have decided to go to college for the rest of your life because we are in Entrepreneur University. Yes. So those are the challenges. The challenges are when you talk about innovation and you speak about it in this unapologetic way. And I'm not really sure where unapologetic came from, but I even used it in my podcast before. Yeah. And I think it talks about just not being sorry for being yourself. Yes. I remember when I was younger, I had to sit back and realize that my Black woman millennial experience should not be apologized for, even though it's not what some society has depicted as what my experience is supposed to be. Exactly. So when you think about all that stuff, those are the challenges. It really roots in yourself because the external challenges are going to come and they're expected. No matter what. Yeah, no matter what. So the biggest challenge is people management, starting with yourself. Definitely. Yeah. And then the other part of your question, being fourth generation, I was just talking to my friend, Kim Evans. She owns Just Her Rideshare, and it's a rideshare company for women. And shout out to her because she is taking it on the chin all the time for some of the larger rideshare companies that not only play around with wanting to support and help and buy and do all that stuff, but they also kind of pull little pieces of what she's doing. For sure. And I deal with that a lot, and I've had to learn how to take it as a compliment. Yes. Forging the way in an industry. And as a fourth generation, what I was talking to her about is we are privileged to be the first generation of, we could go as broad as people of color, because people of color is not only Black, right? Yep. Or the first generation, when you think about older millennials, younger Gen Xers, that is able to not only work on our business, but share and pass that generational knowledge forward. Right. Which is way different because, you know, I have an uncle, I've had uncles and aunts that have had businesses going back. My father had a business and they didn't have the time or the ability to pass on the knowledge to me. Definitely. Right. I got to see what it looks like. And now I'm blessed because my mom's like, yes, Mama Harris, shout out to her. Yep, shout out to Mama Harris. Yeah, shout out to Mama Harris. And even TJ, Papa TJ, right? Yep. Like, they understand what we're doing in an inherently different way. Yes. And although they can't give us all the knowledge, they give us the foundation to be able to walk forward. Yes. So. I talk about that all the time because I'm a third, I believe, generation entrepreneur. And I talk about, like, people laying the path before us. So
as you know, last November you came to the screening of my short film where I talked about like how this is bigger than me and this comes from family. And then I recently this week just wrote an ebook I haven't released yet, but it just talks about my journey, and a lot of it goes back to you. And it's like the leadership, the entrepreneurial journey, all of that, it starts with you. Your mindset, how strong can you stay? And then I think having people to do entrepreneurship before you, like being a fourth and third generation, it does give that foundation. And when you do feel like giving up, you think about, did they have moments where they want to give up? What would be different if they did give up? You know, things like that for me keep me going and keep me strong in this entrepreneurial journey. And earlier I recorded a show and I was talking to them about Tabitha Brown and the comment she made about like, hey, if you're really struggling and you can't feed yourself, go get a job. How do you feel about that?
100%. I tell people all the time, don't do what I did, because I think that my level of empathy and understanding for people's entrepreneurship journey is really high, because I often am helping and supporting and speaking to entrepreneurs. And I say, don't do what I did. I moved to Houston and I was like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. You know, I had saved a significant amount of money, but I'm far past run out of that runway.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Luray Infinity, my brand, and my speaking engagements and my media stuff, you know, the us space would be more of a struggle than it is. And so I tell people, have the humility to know when to start and stop. And entrepreneurship is a journey. And just like on Route 66, you can hop off and go take a break and come back. Home. Right? And you can always do evergreen stuff to keep things going. And hell, if you really want to be honest, you can step away and sometimes people won't even notice.
Damn. But that's so true.
So I say that everybody has to find their own cadence. Yes. And again, it goes back to what you asked me about, the hard part of entrepreneurship. And that's one of the hard parts, especially if you're coming from corporate or you come from a really traditional 9-to-5, is understanding that cadence and breaking apart from that. No, you do not have to get up at 9, and no, you will not stop at 5 o'clock.
Right.
And what does it look like? Does that mean that you take a nap in the middle of the day? Does it mean that you only take meetings between these times, or you have blackout days?
Yeah.
A new thing I've started doing is, like, what's today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever day it is, right?
It's Wednesday.
Yeah. On Wednesday, I block off the entire next week.
I know that's right.
Because I have my calendars that are open to the public.
Yeah.
And I forget where my calendars are. And I'll turn around and people have booked it. And I'm like, oh, no, I need to do an RFP, or I need to do partnership growth for the us space. So that keeps me like in a rhythm and a flow and a balance.
Definitely. Okay, so let's talk about creating the us space. Okay. The us space has become a hub for collaboration and empowerment. Yeah. What inspired you to create it?
I have notes. Everybody knows that I always have notes for my little ADHD brain, and I never use them.
And we love it.
Yeah, I love them too. And I never end up using them. But easy one is, I was inspired to create the us space because of a need of myself. Okay. I needed something.
Yeah.
And so I started creating it. And interestingly enough, like the origin story of the us space starts before I actually tell it from, because in 2017, it was the end of the year, and I was at a really fun job I was at for a very long time. And some stuff had started going really awry. And I was at the new library in Austin, and I was in a conference room with a friend, and I was frantically writing things on the board. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have those back of the napkin moments, if you will.
Yep.
And I had decided in that moment I was quitting the job I was at. I was going to figure out some other jobs, and I wrote something down. And I took a picture of it, forget about it. Fast forward 2019, I moved to Houston, and people were like, okay, that sounds really good. Do you have a business plan? I'm like, what? So I really grappled. I lost my father in 2018.
Yeah.
And so I waited that respective year to do any large decisions.
Right.
And my large decision is I wanted to move to Houston anyway. So I moved, and so I'm sitting in my house, and I'm like, look, Father God, I'm like, we need to get this out of my brain, because it's just spinning. And if anybody like you probably know, or any other entrepreneur knows, once it's in your head, you got to get it out.
You got to get it out.
Or you've got to do it, or it's going to just make you mad,
Yes.
right? So I write all this stuff down, and I'm sitting with it. And I randomly, like 6 months later, I had looked something up, and a picture came up, and it was a picture of this frantically written down thing that I put on the board, and it ended up being kind of like the us space, but not really, because it was an event space. So I guess I thought I was going to open up an event space.
Yep.
But out of everything, like, I'm a military brat. I am a sci-fi Trekkies kid. I'm just different in a good way, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think weird and different are awesome, and I'm both of those things. And so from that, I needed something to be creative. I needed something to be tranquil. I needed something to be in the colors I needed something with multifaceted things. Yep. And so I started creating this for me. And then when I started doing the research, the customer discovery, I found out that what people call co-working, which is flex third spaces. And I just wrote an article and put it on LinkedIn about how the us space uses the vocabulary words and what you may be looking for, so that it coincides.
Yes.
But what I found out was that they don't market, and I say they, general society does not market flex third spaces to who are the largest growing and holding population of people that are opening up small businesses in the country / world.
Which are?
Women of color, Black women.
Yeah.
And so when you look at that, I was like, everybody's telling me to make dollars make sense. This makes sense. And then when you said something earlier about philanthropy, and philanthropy is almost becoming a cuss word, because it's directly associated with giving, and not revenue generating and money.
Yeah.
And I am a philanthropist. Absolutely. I give. I even have, my brand, Redefining, it originally rooted from me doing art. Yes. I'm an artist.
Yes.
I'm an artist, and I'm sensitive about my,
right? No, that's right.
But so I'm a whole artist, and even through that brand, I have a philanthropical endeavor where once a year I will donate an art piece.
Yes.
But being a philanthropist doesn't mean you have to be poor.
Right.
Being a social impact person means that that's written into the root of your business. I have a for-profit business. The us space is for-profit.
Yes.
Reimagines is for-profit. So that's where all that came from. That's how I started. The story changes every time because there's so many elements of it, right?
Right.
And things you forget along the way.
Yep.
And then you go back and you open a document and you're like, I was so dumb. Or dang.
Or going back in those journals. I'm a big journal
You have
person.
journals.
Yes, all kind. And then I have so many that when I'm looking for my note, I'll be in the wrong journal.
You can't find it.
The color code, I got to make a chart. But sometimes I go and I look in the journals and I look at what the original idea was. I'm like, this
and
is,
you're like, dumb,
this is trash.
Or you're like, dang, I forgot about that piece.
Yes.
And you need to tie it back in because
Yes.
it makes so much more sense now. Like,
or it shows that you did exactly what you said you were going to do. Sometimes.
That part. Like, if I go back to my original pitch deck for the us space, I can show you what I drew out for what my space would look like.
Yeah.
My space is like that, but instead of in a box, it's in an L.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another one is the us space, right? We wavered between the U and the S, either being U in lowercase s or U capital S. And we went with lowercase s for a couple of reasons, with the idea that moving into the future, we may make it an uppercase S. But we moved it to lowercase s because of the United States. Hello. Right. But then everybody, the community speaks. And when people send me emails, they always do capital US.
Yes, I have capital US on my notes right
Exactly. So it's one of those things, but US stands for unapologetic self-starter.
Oh, come on now, LaGina.
Yeah, and it was one of those things. And I even started, when I wrote the business plan, I was like, and everybody's going to call it TUS. And people are like, that's stupid. It's not going to happen. What do we call the us space?
TUS. You knew it. You already knew.
And you got to believe in yourself.
For sure.
And what you want to do with your business.
For sure. You got to stand solid on your vision. For sure.
10 toes down.
Yep. So what does it mean to not just create a space, but to curate an atmosphere that builds trust, creativity, and community? I know what that feels like because I've been in your space. So I love your space. I tell you, every time you come, it just makes you feel empowered when you're there. You know, you feel community. You feel all these things. You feel creativity. So
Yeah, I received that. Thank you.
no problem.
When you say empowered, I've always been very reluctant to use that word when it's the us space giving that word to people, because we cannot empower people. We can support people that already have the power. And so I love that you say you feel empowered, because that is what we want. But I'm not going to say I empowered you. You are a strong mother, entrepreneur, business owner. I'm not empowering you. You got all the power.
Y'all, it's here. The One Hope experience you'll love. When you open a bottle, you're opening up doors to opportunity. On top of that, 10% goes to local nonprofits. This isn't just wine, it's giving back. It's a community one sip at a time. I didn't join to sell wine because I'm no salesman. I joined because I believe in using what we already do. Gather, gift, pour to create change. You can start giving back today by scanning the QR code or clicking the link in the show notes. Now let's get back to the show.
But that's good. And I go, well, I have ADHD. And she goes, well, lean into that. And I said, I do. I talk about it a lot. And she goes, but this is a place where ADHD can thrive.
Yes.
And I go, okay, so the us space is for the ADHD in all of us.
Yep.
Like, imagine walking.
Because we all have a little bit.
A little bit. And also, who wants to sit at the same desk every day, all the time?
Yeah.
When you can get a lot of windows at the us space, you can go from a standing desk to an old school 1980s desk to
maybe to a couch, to a table,
to the bistro.
All of that. And you know what? I come from working for my mom's nonprofit for years. So I maybe had 3 offices over the 16 years, but still, that's many days at one desk, one area, you know. And I remember we got to the point we used to do like a 4:00 happy hour. So we would cut on a coffee pot, everyone come out of their office, and we'll just be like in the open area, just because those walls start closing in on you.
Yeah, they do.
So for spaces like yours, it's like, even, you know, me having this space, I come over there to work and get things done because you have so many options. Then I didn't even know you had like a sound booth, or I don't even know what you call it, but like you could go in there and close and record videos, you know. And I'm just like, this place is amazing. Like, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, like it's an ADHD person's dream. And we even have spaces to facilitate incubators. I'm really proud that we did launch an incubator this year.
Yeah.
And, you know, she went from 0 revenue with the idea to enough to roast extra. She's a coffee maker, Hot House Coffee, shout out.
Shout out to Nicole.
Shout out to Nicole. And things like that. So every time you go in, even our members, like we send member emails because we're like, did you know that you have this and this? And we're constantly getting perks and everything. We have a nap and wellness room and the phone booths that you can record in. And we're even working on our sound lab that is going to be for our members.
Come on now.
So there's just a lot of stuff to do.
We love that.
And you can work.
Yep, and you can work. At the end of the day, you can find somewhere to work there.
Absolutely.
So how have women, minorities, entrepreneurs responded to having access to this kind of platform? I know I spoke about my personal experience, but how's everyone enjoying the space?
Everybody that knows about it and that taps in and uses it to its full ability really, really benefits from it. Yeah. And is really tapped into our ecosystem and everyone we're tied to. I personally feel like there needs to be more. Yeah. I would love to see the space bust out of its seams, whether it's because you're a remote worker and you need a place to work, or you're a corporate person and you need a boardroom space, or you're a national nonprofit and you need a place to train your executive team, or you are a small business owner and you need your desk and all of those vibes. There's not enough. There's not enough going on at the us space. There's not enough activation. Yeah. And I'm excited as it grows because it just makes me happy to see it hustling and bustling and us having to turn on the dishwasher every day.
Come on,
and
now.
We have to go get more snacks because, you know, one of our pillars is productivity. So we do have snacks and coffee and tea and everything available so that you can just keep going if you just need that one bite and you don't want to stop and go down to the 500 restaurants we have available really close to us. So I love seeing where it is, but I'm so much more excited to see where it's going.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want the us space to do is be the best kept secret.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And I have to talk briefly about the snacks, okay? Because I know like hospitality, even us, we try to put out the waters,
Yeah.
the chips. That stuff adds up, right?
It
But
does.
you get sponsors, you get people that help you out with it. But I've never been there and there was no snacks.
Yeah.
Like, I think we have to talk about that because that just talks about how much you pour into that space. Like, you make sure that there's water, there's coffee, there's snacks. Like, that's a good idea, but to actually make sure that it never runs out, like,
it can be daunting.
Yes.
I have the amazing support because I'm a solo founder.
Yeah.
I have the amazing support of something that I created called the Founders Triangle, and it's a triangle of people that really embrace
and support
the ideology and the methodology behind the us space.
Yeah.
And they support through dollars, through their thought leadership, through even donating or sponsoring the snacks for the quarter. And so there are benefits that come with that. Like, we do private dinners for them.
Yeah.
When we're doing space exploration for our next spaces, they go on tours with me. And when we get partnerships like we have with the Ensemble Theater, they're the first people that we reach out to, like, hey, we have a night at the theater, come with us,
come out,
all of those kind of things. But I'm really, really, really blessed as a solo founder to have a community of people like that support and see the purpose of what we're doing. One of the things that I don't even think most of our members know about it, but we have a fellowship. So if you're a full-on member and you fall on financially hard times, you can sign up for the fellowship, and it is sponsored through our Founders Triangle. So there's all of these 50 billion intricate parts of the us space. So when people are like, oh, it's co-working, I always cringe, and it's not because I'm mad because they don't get the idea, but we are more than co-working.
So much more than co-working. So much more. So let's talk about media and amplification. Yeah. You're also a podcast host, a media company owner, a media personality, a media teacher, a media educator, all the things.
Yeah.
How do you use media to amplify underrepresented voices?
Yeah, I guess because the people that I'm always around are the root of my amplification comes from women.
Yeah.
And it's everything to me comes down to stats and research.
Yeah.
Studies show that women bring people with them. Black women bring people with them in society. Whatever it is, they uplift.
Yes.
So why wouldn't you support that body of people? Even if I wasn't that body of people, because I always talk about on stages, I was a white male millennial in a lifetime.
You was a white male millennial at one point?
Yeah, come on.
I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. Like, and not because I'm not a Black woman, but I walk around with some audacities that sometimes are very reflective of a white male millennial.
Yeah.
That isn't inherent. I worked really hard to get to that because I think we deserve to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Walking around this dang earth, right?
Yes.
And so as a media personality and doing all those things, I really push and strive to amplify other people because I'm always curious. I want to know somebody's story.
Yeah.
And there's so many people's stories I know and they have told me, and it's not even about getting the scoop, if you will. I just dated myself.
Get the tea.
Not the tea. Sorry, not the scoop, the tea. Whatever. No cap. But
I know that's right.
It's about getting to know somebody in a personal way and being able to support them in a really cool way. So when I can take that and then transcribe it into media support, production, whatever kind, and really use my creative side to become a creative director, that's what I love doing.
Yeah, me too. I get the entrepreneurial work. It's a lot. So of course we get caught up in the everyday stuff of just keeping businesses going and taking care of our families. I absolutely enjoy creating a project from scratch. Like with the short film that we did, It Was All a Dream. I really enjoyed that process. Even writing the ebook that I did, it's like I love being creative and just putting it all out there. And even with the ebook, I couldn't sleep. So for like 3 weeks, I could not sleep. So I went straight to God. I'm like, what's up, bro? I'm like, I need this rest. I'm trying to be efficient, trying to take care of myself, be present with my kids. Like, I need the rest. And it was like the book.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got that all out, I mean, I was up to like 2 a.m. I'm like, I'm going to sleep tonight. So all these thoughts, you getting out of here. And I wrote that book and been sleeping ever since.
My thing right now is LinkedIn articles.
Yes.
So I'm on the LinkedIn article trip, and I also really am enjoying RFPs.
Yes.
Because one, RFPs are super vague.
Yep.
So let's just be honest, because sometimes when people are like, oh, I need something, they put out an RFP and it's missing pieces you need.
Yeah.
But it also allows you to tap into your creativeness, tap into imagine if this project looked like this. I think one of the biggest challenges is when they don't give like a budget.
Yeah.
And they're like, just tell us what it is. I'm like, okay, are we going for the $5,000 production? Are we going for the $50,000 production? Because, you know,
a difference.
Right. Because in cinema, $50,000 isn't even 3 hours in a day.
Yep. It's a $5,000 budget.
Right. A $5,000 budget, you know, if we're working with somebody that's really community based and wants to get out a podcast, we can get it out for that amount, a full season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work with you.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, you can't have 3 cameras and 3 days of shooting. We've got to logistically come up with
right. We got to make
smart.
It make sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, I enjoy media.
Yes, we love media. Yes. So as we transition to our last segment, which talks about just strategy, leadership, and resilience, this is a segment I want to give some practical tools away to our audience. You have a reputation for operating in a chaotic, complex environments and still achieving results. What's the secret? Because we're entrepreneurs and other business owners, that at times that's just life. Things are chaotic, or the entrepreneurial journal could just be a lot of moving pieces. So what's the secret? What can we tell our audience to keep them grounded?
Yeah, I don't think there's a secret. Again, entrepreneurship is a full journey. And I think the sooner you embrace that, the better you're going to get a cadence in your journey.
Yeah.
And something that I said at the beginning, understanding who you are and the type of leader you are is a thing. And I knew way back when I was a kid, you know, I'm a non-officially diagnosed ADHD person, but there ain't nobody that would be like, oh no, you don't have ADHD. They're like, girl, you're all the way over there.
Yeah.
You're neurodivergent ADHD, right? But I have always been able to operate in controlled chaos.
Yeah.
And as you know, I am very organized, especially with teams, folders, punch lists, shot lists, run of shows. Like that's where I thrive, because it's me taking my visualization, writing it down on paper, because then when the event happens, all the chaos that happens, those are the things that were supposed to be there, and they're organic.
Yes.
So I operate in controlled chaos, and you know, my advice to anybody is to understand yourself.
Yep.
Understand how you operate.
Yep.
Understand your leadership styles, and then bring people in that aren't you.
Yes. So youth and community, you know, I'm all about that. We both are. Mm-hmm. What does empowerment look like for the next generation? Well, or maybe we use a different word.
It's fine. If that's the word you use, you know, like it's nothing I can control.
Yeah.
I'll go back to, so I had a successful fail, if you will. I received an award. It's the Darrell King Paving the Way Award for the world.
Paving the Way.
Paving the Way. Modeled after Harriet Tubman and how she, you know, did the Underground Railroad, and not only did she escape, but she came back and paved the way for other people, right? For the World Youth Foundation. I got up on stage and I had my bullet points, Jazmin. I was ready to go.
You was ready.
I was good. I was like, got this. I'm not gonna, rewind. I had my bullet points, Jazmin. I was ready to go. I was like, I got this. I'm not gonna cry, because there's always an over-under on me crying. And Mr. King gets up there and says all kinds of sweet stuff about me. And I'm like, I didn't know he felt this way. And Chelsea's looking back at me and I'm like, oh, I'm going to lose it. So I'm going on stage and I'm already
it's all coming down.
Right. But what I would tell youth, and what I was telling them on stage, is don't stop. You believe in yourself first, right? Ask for what you need. And try many different things. And don't count yourself out.
Yes.
those are the simplest things. And while you're a youth, and you can say you're a youth, I'm 40, and people are still like, you're the young one in our group. Ask for what you need.
Yep.
And
Speak
say
up.
what you want.
Yep.
Those are two different things. And have a level of discernment and integrity.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So before we do a closeout and you tell them how they can reach you and all that, I like to ask just a few fun questions.
Okay.
Usually it's 4, but on my notes I only got 2. So let me pull it up on my phone. Okay.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
So one word that describes the us space.
I'm going to give 3 one words because I like trifectas. So
Okay.
solutions, ecosystem, and innovation.
Love it. And that is all true. A quote that fuels your leadership style.
Build a table and then invite others to the seat. And that directly correlates into like the us spaces hashtag, welcome to the table.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then even with Lorraine Infinity, tell your story, be your own brand, live your truth, stand in your moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A recent book or podcast that inspired you.
Y'all don't laugh. One, I love Rachel Maddow.
Okay. My mom loves that too.
I love her. In Free Speech, Let's Go. And Sisters Who Kill podcast.
Okay.
2 best friends, and they talk about Black female murderers. But they also talk about the circumstances before, the injustices to the criminal system, and how it plays into their sentencing and all this stuff. It's great. And then Michelle Obama's books are fire.
Yeah.
Like
I'm just now reading Becoming.
Oh, Becoming?
Yeah.
Great. Amazing. And her auditory work is phenomenal. So I really enjoy that. And then for teenagers, Chicken Soup. You read Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul 1 through 100 because there's a lot of them.
Yes.
Those are
my dad used to get them for me every
all the
gift,
time.
whatever gift it could be.
Yes, and Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Yes.
Y'all read that stuff. It's literary genius, and it's nice and simple.
Yeah.
So those are my things.
All right, last one. Impact in 1 sentence.
Impact in 1 sentence. Building spaces where access meets opportunity and everyone thrives.
We love it, LaGina. We love it. So before we do the closeout, well, I'll just say this. LaGina, your story is very much powerful. That's why I'm glad you came on. And I love the fact that you're like, hey, I just go with the flow. Like, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Yes, I'm doing what I'm building something. I'm just going with it. Like, I don't have it all figured out. And that's what I love about you, because that transparent truth is what this podcast is all about. As CEOs and founders, we don't always have a safe space to just tell our truth, because everybody's counting on us. Everybody's looking up to us. Everybody needs something from us, which, I mean, we take that on when we choose to do this role. But sometimes we just be like, I don't know what to do next. Excuse me. So thank you for bringing your transparency here. If you can let the people know how they can stay in contact with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's funny because this morning I was talking beep at the us space, and a couple members walked by and they were laughing, and we all like had our little coffee talk moment. And so I really do feel like I have built something where all of those things can happen.
Yes,
there's community collaboration, there's co-working, there's solo working, all of the things. I brought something for you if I can find it, because I done buried it back in the couch. I tried to do like they do on the talk shows, and since you got a talk show.
Girl, yes!
So, this is one of our limited edition. I don't even know where I found it, but it's one
Welcome
of the cloth
to the table.
bags.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you having me and taking the time to, do the work that you're doing in the community and amplifying. And then the list of call to actions. One is always tap into the us space, theusspace.com for events, to reach out to us to find out if our facilities are available. Follow us on Instagram _the_us_space. We have a TikTok. I don't know if that's going to be a thing for a long time, whatever. We're in downtown Houston. We're in the middle of downtown Houston, y'all. The rail, the community connector, everything is right there. And we take care of parking for our members. So that's an amazing thing. And then for the second year in a row, we're doing Tuss House.
Yes.
during a really cool time that's happening in the city. So from October 28th to the 30th, we're doing the Us Space House. It's a 3-day activation. You make the Us Space your home and you participate in everything. Co-working, meetups, panels. Jazmin, you know, CCN was there last year.
Yes, definitely.
And supported. And you can check that out at theusspace.com/TUSHouse2025 and register. And then on the expansion side, because I think that's a really important thing.
Yep.
If you are ready to expand with our Us Space model as a partner, we really look at cities, developers,
Yeah.
higher ed institutions, and corporations to transform underutilized properties into thriving ecosystems.
Yes.
And really help engage a community and do business education and support business owners and leaders in people's areas. So if you're looking to expand in that type of way, or you're still calling it co-working, and you want to flex third space, reach out to the Us Space at hello at theusspace.com.
Definitely, definitely. So legacy isn't just what you leave behind, it's the spaces you build while you're here. So for my people out there, keep creating, keep amplifying. And as y'all know, I just launched my Strategize You community. And that's a community of founders and CEOs where we all work together to create holistic strategy. So we have 6 pillars that we cover so that we can actually build something that lasts. Because like I say, we can focus on business, but then when life start lifing, you better have some strategies in some other areas.
And you're really good at that.
Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoy doing it. So if you're looking for a community to really build with and make things come to life, make sure you check out strategizewithjazmin.com, and we will catch y'all on the next episode. Peace. If you heard something on this platform that helped you, do me a favor. Follow, like, subscribe, and share so that we can help the next person.